Hello, I'm Jennifer Barrera, and today's October 5th, and I'll be discussing the axial and appendicular skeleton. The first one I'm going to discuss is your nasal, which is right here. This is your nasal bone. Then you have the sphenoid, which is right here in the eye socket. And you have the lacrimal, which is also known as your tear duct area. Then you have your ethmoid, which is right above that, right in here. Then you have your zygomatic, which is your cheekbone. Then you have your maxilla, your upper lip area, your mandible, which is your chin. You have your frontal, the front, think of forehead, and the veneer is a little bone right here in the nose. Okay, now we talk about the posterior of the scalp or of the head. Right here you have your occipital, you have your mandible, you have your parietal, and then you have your temporal right here on the side. Now I'll be showing you the lateral side of the skull. So the first one would be the ethmoid, which is right here inside the eye as well, in the socket. Then you have your frontal, your forehead. Think of the front forehead. Your lacrimal is your tear duct. You have your mandible right here. Your maxilla, which is your upper part. And then you have your nasal, which is your nose. Your occipital, the back of the scalp of the head. Parietal is the side. Then you have your temple area, and then zygomatic, which is your cheekbone. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the inferior of the skull, the area. The first part is the ethmoid, which is right here. Think of your eyes are right here. This is your ethmoid. You have your frontal, which is around here. Think of your forehead region. Then you have your occipital, think of the back of the skull. You have your parietal, which is the side. Then you have your temporal as well, which is right over here. And then you have your sphenoid, which is this little bone. The next part is the vertebrae column. So you'll start off at the atlas, which is the first little bone, the little notch. Then you have your axis right below it, which is number 2. And then you have your cervical, which is right here. This is your cervical, 1 through 7. Then you have your thoracic vertebrae, which is 1 through 12. Then you have your lumbar, which is the remainder. You have your sacrum, and then your coccyx, which is your tailbone. This is your thoracic cage. The first part is the sternum. This bone right here in the middle is your sternum. Then you have your manubrium of the sternum, this little notch, this little spot right here. You have your true ribs, then you have your false ribs, because they're not connecting to the sternum. That's the difference. And then you have your floating ribs, which are connected to the vertebrae column. The next thing I'll talk about is the appendicular skeleton. So the first part would be the clavicle. This is your clavicle bone, this one right here. And then you have your humerus, which is this bone, also known as like the funny bone. You have your radius, which is this one, that's outside. Then your ulna is the inside one, and your scapula, which is this right here. So the next part I'll be discussing is your hand and wrist. So the first part is the capitate, right here. Then you have your hamate, which is this bone that's sticking out right underneath. And then you have your lunate, which is at the bottom of your wrist. Your scaphoid, right here. Then you have your sesamoid, which is right in here. Also, like you can feel it right here by your thumb, this little bone. Then you have your trapezium, which is right below that. This is the metacarpals. These come first from your hand. They're the metacarpals right here. And then this is your phalanges. Then you have your pisiform, which is right here, this little black dot. And you have your trapezoid, which is right in here, this little spot. Then you have your trapezium, which is right there, right below the trapezoid. Now I'll be discussing the pelvic area, the pelvic bone. This is your ilium. Then you have your ischium, which is right here. You have your pelvic bone right here. You have your femurs, which is your thigh bone. You have your patella, which are your kneecaps. Tibia, also known as your shin bone. And then you have your fibula on the outside, also known as your calf bone. The last one I'll talk about is the ankle and foot. The first one would be the calcaneus, also known as your heel. You have your cuboid, which is right here, like a little cube. You have your intermediate cuneiform, which is right this one. You have your lateral cuneiform right next to it. You have your medial, which is right there. And you have your metatarsals right here. And you have your navicular, it's right here. And phalanges, toes, and talus. Thank you for watching my presentation, and I hope you have a good day.